Hey babe, is now a good time to talk?
Now's a good time to have an unfiltered conversation.
Welcome to MarKei Unfiltered. We're back with another episode. And I'm your boy Keon.
And I'm Marissa.
And you guys know that this is the show where we keep it real, raw, and unfiltered. It's actually been a while since we sat down on the couch.
Yes, we've been busy, y'all. We apologize.
Right. Like, we definitely been trying to sit down and get an episode done. We actually had it scheduled, I want to say 2 weeks ago. And we rescheduled probably 4 or 5 times.
Yes.
And between that, just because of life. And everything that's been going on.
It's just been a lot. A lot going on. A lot of things trying to be handled at the same time. A lot of events.
A lot of events.
Yeah.
Like, we celebrated Marissa getting her master's degree.
Yes, I graduated, y'all. But, I guess now, what you call it, last week? Wednesday?
Last week, I guess. I don't know, yeah.
I've been finished, but, this is the actual ceremony. So that was really busy because I had to get my hair done, my nails, get my makeup done at the crack of fucking dawn. Because my graduation was at 10. And we had to be there at 8:15 for no reason, y'all. Because we were just standing there staring at each other. So I had to get my makeup done like 6:30 in the morning.
And she yelled at me because she was running late. And I was trying to get her breakfast.
I didn't yell at him.
She did. All because I was trying to get her some breakfast. She definitely took the time to yell at me that morning. But it's okay. It's okay. What else has been going on? We're thinking about setting up something new. So we're thinking about setting up group trips.
Yes.
So we started asking friends. So we just most recently set up and coordinated like a group of friends all getting together and going out to one in the woods. So we're thinking about setting up some group trips.
Yes.
So they may not always be like top tier destinations. And I'm not gonna say not a top tier destination. Let me take that back. An international destination. So everything may not always be international, but we're thinking about, it may be stuff as simple as like cabin trips or train trips or stuff like that. So definitely stick with us, follow us on that. More stuff to come around that, but that's something that we want to do. So we kind of told everybody that we told so far they're already invited to the wedding. So we were like, look,
that's gonna
the
be
first
one
would be the wedding. And then we're pushing everybody to get their RSVPs done for the wedding.
Yeah, that's another task. The wedding.
The wedding, right? So the wedding,
the house,
and planning that stuff, and then the house has been like a ball of stress. Every freaking week, I feel like there's something new. Like it's like we take one step forward, 2 steps back. Like so, still trying to get to closing.
So that's been a thing.
We're super behind on the episode, so that's how long that's been taking.
Exactly, because we've been dealing with all of this. And I feel like it's something else that we did too.
What else has been going on?
We're going on a cruise. That's what I was going to say.
Oh, that's what's been keeping us busy, the cruise.
Yeah, we've been having to prepare for that. So we had to get the
I think we're down to like, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Yes, like 2 weeks.
I think we're down to like 2 weeks or so. Let me see. 1, 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. I'm very, very excited because we haven't had like a moment to like really, I mean, we've been on like little small road trips, but this is going to be a week long, and I just feel like
driving.
Yes,
we're just on a cruise,
on a boat, enjoying ourselves, getting some sun, going to the beach, like just really decompressing,
having fun.
Yeah.
So the cruise is coming up. We finally found the church home.
Yes, that too.
So that's
Shout
been
out to them.
Really great, like being at South Church. So our Apostle Hannah has been a great leader towards us so far, and we loving the word. We've been at Bible study. So we finished our new members courses and everything. Like that's how much has gone on since our last episode recording. Like,
and we had to get our foot inked
and everything.
And
so
really
we did get the ink, and like our church does this inking, and then with the inking, then like you get like a new birth certificate, right? Like saying like you're reborn in Christ. So that was really like a different experience. And it was
And
really
we all
good.
did it, including the kids. So I was really happy
Right,
for
and the
that.
kids liked it a lot. So it was also good to do it as a family. The kids now have been going to children's church, so they've been
Happy about that.
pretty happy about that. So definitely, if you're looking for a church, if you are ever in need of a church home, definitely check out South Church. You can watch online, but I definitely highly recommend coming in person.
Everybody is so welcoming. And it's really like a upbeat type of thing. Like you won't be in church like, yawning. Like you're going to be up, standing up on your feet. You're going to be clapping.
You're gonna
That's
connect
how
with
good
that
it
word
is.
too. Like he's really good about making sure everybody can connect. Like I'm telling you, it's generations in that church.
Yes. And I also like how he shouts out, like he's really, what's the word I want to use? He's very supportive. Like, he shouts out the church members that have businesses and everything like that. So he's very supportive. I feel like he definitely tries to get to know each and every one of the members.
Right.
So,
And it's growing.
yes.
Like because from when Marissa and I joined until we had new members classes, there were 50 new members in the church in a month. So the church is growing. Like now, every week we're like, we need to get to church earlier because we need our seats and we need to make sure like we can sit here. Like we do not want to be in the back. So for sure, definitely, if you're looking for a church home, like join us. Tell them that Keon and Marissa sent you, but definitely come visit. Even if you have a church home, come visit. Come spend some time with us. Spend a Sunday with us at church. We would love to have everybody there.
That would definitely be cool.
What else has been going on? I'm trying to think. I mean,
Y'all, I gotta talk about it. It's very funny. We had 3 baskets of laundry clothes that I swear
it took us a month
to fold.
So in that time of trying to fold that up, what do we get? Like 4 or 5 laundry baskets of laundry that need to be washed? And we got a wash and dryer in our house. Like we could do laundry every day.
The problem is folding the clothes. It's really not
Folding
washing them. It's folding them.
And putting them away. Right. And then we're in the middle of like, we need to be like packing.
Double packing. Actually.
We're trying to like get stuff out of the house. We're packing the house up. We're packing for a cruise. Like it's
a lot of packing.
It's a lot of packing. It's a lot of stuff going on. And then like those are the things and the tasks that like we hate to do.
Yes, we hate. Packing is not that bad. Well, moving packing is horrible.
It's horrible.
Packing for a vacation is not that bad because I feel like you getting a little joy because you're like, I'm getting ready to get ready.
Getting ready to go. Because when we come back off them trips, stuff just be thrown in the bag. Yeah. We don't be caring at all.
But
other than the amount of money we've been spending, like the kids and everything like that, like, oh man, this has definitely been $1,000 a week.
Yes, because we had to get them. We had to sign them up for summer camp. Summer clothes, summer shoes,
vacation stuff.
But that's all going to work out because camp is coming up, so they'll have stuff for they
camp.
got everything for the summer. They don't need nothing else.
Right.
At all. We bought everything, so I'm happy for that.
We starting to get ready for the school year.
Yeah, I was going to say we have to then start getting ready for back to school.
Right. So it doesn't stop. It's not like, oh, we're just done now. Nope, it doesn't stop. Like, the transition is into more uniforms for Kip.
Right. And it's so crazy because, like, we were in the store yesterday, and the kids were just, like, saying something. They're like, you see how many... I had to tell them, like, we only have 2 items, and then one of the items we shared with them. So I'm like...
Right. We didn't even get to keep it. Because they just had
to have they're going to goldfish with Old Bay. So let me tell y'all, if you ever in Walmart... Please try them Old Bay goldfish.
Them joints were so good. So look, and the funny thing is, like, we looked at it and we like pointed out, and we were like, "Oh, they put Old Bay on everything." Mm-hmm. Then we was like, "Then no, you went back and you was like, no, let me actually grab that."
Yeah, I'm gonna try these.
And grabbing that
because I already do the cheese and the Old Bay together.
Yeah, that joint was a big hit, and we were hungry yesterday, like at the time when we got it, but definitely think that it was well worth it to grab it, have it. It was so good, but then definitely had to share it with them kids.
We also went to Artscape.
Yeah, both days. Robin Thicke was actually really good.
Yes, so, Robin Thicke was awesome.
was awesome. And seeing him for free, I was like, all right. Yeah. Now, Fantasia was good. Don't get me wrong. Like, Fantasia was good. Great performance. She just made us mad because, like, she didn't hit the songs we thought she was going to hit.
Yeah. So, Robin Thicke, he definitely did his big one. Like, he hit
everything. All the songs
I wanted to hear, he hit them. That Lost Without You.
That was the end, too. He really killed that, too. Yeah. He hit it without, like, all the acapella first.
Whoa, whoa.
Yeah, that joint. So, and seeing it for free, like what?
Yeah.
So now we're having a debate because this weekend is Roots Picnic. Mm-hmm. So we've been trying to debate, like, are we going to go? Are we not going to go? If we were going to go, we were just going to go for a day. But we've really been trying to debate, like, are we going to go to the Roots Picnic? You know what we're really determined if we're going to go? Let's see what rentals look like this weekend.
That's another thing. We still been doing our car stuff, guys. Like, our car business.
So we got one that ends on Saturday night, but it doesn't go back out until Tuesday.
And that's another thing. We've been getting confused on. He went to BWI the whole time. We supposed to go down the street one day.
Listen.
We get confused on which car we picking up. Or we pick up the gray one or the white one. Like.
So technically, I mean, as of right now, we could go. It comes back Saturday night. We can just leave it there because it's going to be at BWI. Then we just go get it Sunday. So as of right now, we could go. We're definitely not going to go both days. So yeah, we're definitely not going to go both days. We definitely have decided.
Yeah, no.
No. And on Sunday, I feel like the only person that we want to see is Glorilla. But we just saw Glorilla.
Yeah, at Dreamville.
So it's kind of like, I'll be all right. Like, it's going to be another festival set. So I don't think we're going to get like anything different than what we got.
Y'all, I got my Chris Brown tickets.
Oh, she did get your Chris Brown tickets.
I'm not playing. I cannot wait.
I'm actually
tell y'all.
So the funny thing is, like, this whole Chris Brown thing. So Marissa's a big Chris Brown fan. Like she's a big Chris Brown fan. So a lot of times I'll be like, oh, I don't think I'm that big of a Chris Brown fan. Then she'll play songs and I'll be like, that nigga Chris Brown hit. Then I'll be like, yeah. I'll be like, nah, I am. So now that we like are preparing for this one, everybody, we just went to go see Kendrick and SZA. Mm-hmm. So since we went to go see Kendrick and SZA, we started to realize, like, we made the playlist. Like, we found their set list and we made our playlist. But then when we did that, we started finding out, like, Apple does this already and makes playlists of everybody's set lists while they're on tour. So we did not make it to the last Chris Brown concert.
Yeah. I was mad about that, though.
Right. And we didn't do it because we just saw him. And we were like, oh, like, it ain't going to be that different. Nah. We definitely should have went.
Yes, because he was hitting all them. I'm so mad.
Yeah, so we ended up seeing him at a festival. I want to say Lovers and Friends.
Yeah, Lovers and Friends. That's what
we saw him at that festival. So his tour was like right after that. We were like, oh, we just saw him, like, but now after I'm like, damn, we should have definitely went to go see that. So now we're trying to figure out, like, okay, well, what songs are going to be on this tour? Will we miss some stuff that was on the last tour? Will some of that stuff come back or whatever? Because all 3 nights in DC are sold out.
Yes.
All 3. And we usually big one. Don't even hit concerts in DC. Honestly, DC or Baltimore. Like, we usually try to get away if we are going to hit a concert.
DC especially because I don't want my window busted.
Yeah. So don't be having time.
Yeah, I don't want my window busted. I'm sorry.
Don't be having time at all. So I don't even know what car we're going to take that night.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably the Tesla because it got the cameras around the car. At least it'll be recorded. Right.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's probably what we'll take. Is the Tesla. Well, I guess we can get into today's episode.
Yes. So today's episode, we are going to be talking about trust after betrayal and how to move forward, like what's our views on it, like our experiences and things like that.
So we will say, like, today's episode is going to be a mix of things that, like, we've been through, things that, like, people have talked to us about, things that, like, we've seen, our personal views and everything like that, but, like, really just our ultimate viewpoint on just, like, trust after betrayal, right? So I think we're going to talk about couple different things, right? So like what, how does betrayal affect trust? How do we heal after like being betrayed? And practical ways to rebuild or walk away. And listener submissions, but I don't know if we have any of those because we did not put out the
Yes.
topic. We kind of did a
We
vote
kind
on
of
the
did a vote,
topic,
yeah.
and then we were going to do the episode, but then, like I told y'all, we're 2 weeks behind.
So it's okay. We won't.
So we may miss the listener submissions.
That's okay.
But it's okay. It's all right. So I guess let's kind of get started. But before we do,
Y'all know, rapid fire. So I'm just gonna pick a question because we have a few. Do you believe in forgiving without forgetting? Why or why not?
so I think, yes, I do believe in forgiving without forgetting. I think that just because you forgive someone doesn't mean that you forget the experience that you've been through or the experience that you've had, right? But like in the Bible, it says that we should be forgiven, right? Like we should leave with forgiving hearts, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why Jesus died for our sins, right? Like to just be that forgiving. And forgiveness is not for them, it's for us, right? To put me at peace, right?
Right.
So because I think that life requires selfishness, I do want to be more forgiving in life. In order to have a better thing in life, right? I don't think that everybody has the intentions. Just because something hurt me doesn't mean that the people had the intentions to.
Right.
Right? So I do think that you can be forgiving. And that doesn't mean you have to forget, right? You're going to, like, certain things, you don't know. What did we learn in couples counseling,
you
right? You don't know that you're triggered until you're triggered.
Yeah, it happens.
Right? So, yeah, you're not going to forget. But I think that you can be forgiving and move amicably forward.
Yeah, I agree.
So would you rather rebuild trust with someone who betrayed you or start over with someone new?
It would have to depend on the situation, but if I'm just going to answer, I would. I see it just depends on what they did because I don't know how far. It depends on how far you went. You get what I'm saying? Because some things I do feel like is no coming back from.
So
but
just general answer.
General.
Yeah, you just go with a general answer, right? Before you think on and put in
'cause
different scenarios in your head.
I'll be going too deep.
Right. So let's just think on a general. How would you answer that?
I would say I would rather rebuild the trust with someone that betrayed me because I feel like you already love them. Like they may have just made a mistake, or their intentions were not to hurt you, but it did. And maybe that could be a learning point for both of you guys.
All right.
All right. Your trust scale. On a scale from 1 to 10, how trusting are you now? And has that changed over time?
I'm probably 8, and yes, it has changed over time. I think I'm more trusting now.
I feel like I was gonna say if I think like an 8 for me too.
Yeah, I think I'm more trusting now than what I've been in life. Mm-hmm. I think that I try to see people because now I don't put people in these general categories. So like there was some work in my own personal therapy for that, but because now I see everybody as an individual and have to look at them for their actions and their character, I think that has allowed me to be more trusting.
Okay.
All right. Well, what's the first time you can remember feeling betrayed, even as a kid?
So I would say the first time like I probably had like a feeling of being betrayed probably was like my parents and like the divorce and everything. Not to bash my dad, but that felt like a betrayal to me, like because like the cheating broke up
Your family.
my family. So it was kind of like, damn, like you betrayed us. Like you kind of just was like, not fuck y'all, but fuck y'all. Like, I don't think he really, my dad was young, but I don't think he really was like fuck his, because he still cares about my mom. He cares about me and my mom now, but it just as a kid, it's just like, damn, like. You go from one day having your family to not. It's hard.
I get that. Well, I think that we can end rapid fire there.
Right there.
And go into the start of our trust after betrayal. And I think that we can just start having some conversations. What do you think about that?
I agree.
So I think first and foremost, we should kind of talk about what betrayal does to trust, right? So like starting with that betrayal. I think it is hard, right? Being betrayed by someone that you love and that you care about and that you believe loves and cares about you can be hard to deal with because nobody in life expects to be betrayed, right? Nobody in life is walking around with that in mind. So when that happens, especially when you've put your trust into someone and now that trust has been broken, right? I think that has impacts on us mentally, emotionally, physically. Right? Like that betrayal, mentally is now has our head into thinking because sometimes like you be betrayed and you start thinking like, well, what else have they done? What else has gone on? Right? We're not able to focus in on the moment that we're actually living in that moment. And then you as the person like that may be dealing with that, right? Like you start having doubt on yourself, right? You start like reflecting back to yourself and start asking like, bro, what did I do wrong? Or what is it about me? What do I not bring? Why am I not good enough? And of course it's always anger, right? Like, cause I think going through betrayal, you automatically go through
stages.
The stages of grief,
stages.
right?
Yeah.
Or stages of betrayal. I don't know if there's stages of betrayal. Let's look that up. Are there stages of betrayal? But I know there's like stages of grief.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that you would kind of go through that. So betrayal trauma is a complex process, and the stages are not always linear, often overlapping or repeating. But I think the same thing happens with the stages of grief.
Yep.
So generally, individuals may experience shock, denial, anger, grief, and eventually acceptance and recovery. These stages are similar to those experienced in grief after a loss, and they can be triggered by various reminders of the betrayal. So, yeah, I think that you go through that period when you're betrayed.
Absolutely. I definitely think that betrayal, definitely you go through those stages because it's like the definition gave. You can go from, let's say, you might start at 4 and go to 3 and then go to back to 4, then go to 1. Like it's no correct order. Like everybody is you're individually different, so you're gonna go through the process the way that you go through it. I definitely think betrayal is hard on your mental, like especially if you're the person. It could be hard on both people's mentals because let's say, you were the person who betrayed somebody. Your intent could have been like not to betray them, but now you got in your mind like am I a horrible person because I did X, Y, and Z? Like,
Right.
Or will this person ever forgive me? Especially if somebody you care about, like you wanna fix it, and then if that person doesn't, that's heartbreak. Another thing you gotta go through. So
Right, like the things that come with it.
Mentally, it's hard for the person who got betrayed because you do start. I think it does affect your self-esteem because you do start thinking like, well, what if I would have just did this differently? Like maybe they wouldn't have did this, or maybe they wouldn't have did that, or maybe if I would have just been more of this way, like I could have got different results. But whole time it's like it's not on you, but you take it. You take it personal because it's like, damn, like I thought we were good or great or we were making progress, we're doing something, we good.
Right.
And then it's like a smack in the face. Or if we're not doing good, but we're not having honest talks like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. I don't want to go out here and do something or, make it worse, but I just want to talk to you.
And I think sometimes like that is important, is like being able to have that communication before it leads to betrayal.
Yes.
Because I think sometimes that we're just not having, like, people, and I mean, like, when I say we're, I mean, like, people as a whole, just aren't having, like, real authentic conversations.
We're not, yeah.
Right? So, because it can even be down to, like, work, right? Like, you ever feel, like, betrayed at work, like, with somebody, like, a coworker or something like that, right? So, like, and a lot of times, like, it's all, like, based off of, like, perceptions and non-realistic conversation.
Right.
Right? So, because I do think, like, betrayal happens beyond romance, right?
Yep,
So,
it
like,
sure
it can
does.
happen in friends, family, business partners, co-workers, everything, right? Like, you ever, like, go to plan out a business with somebody and y'all talking about investing money, or you go to invest your money and they betrayed you and, like, the money is gone, or, like, something, like, it all fails in the business, or now they trying to get over on you, or they never show up and all the work is on you. Like, so betrayal happens in more ways than just one, right? I think, like, one of the pieces for me is that why then do we let romantic betrayal hit so different?
Oh, because I think I ain't even gonna lie. Romantic is different, I think, because it's romantic. I would say romantic, family, and friends are the three that are, like, for me. I think because you share a special, different type of bond outside of, like, work and friends, and, like, you're having sex with your partner, and y'all building a way deeper level bond. Like, y'all probably sleep together every night. It's only certain experiences that you two experience together. It's those type of things that I think that make it so major for other people. Well, I know for me, because I'm like,
because that's, you know what I mean, like.
But I do think
so.
Betrayal,
Okay,
yeah.
So, all right. With that being said, right, I completely can hear that and I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, right, then that leads to, can the trust be restored? Because in those friends and families, right, like, does that now say that they're, for me, what that sounds like is like, these people are worth more because your hurt is more because of who you are in my life, but they're worth more fixing it because their hurt don't hurt me as much. Like, you know what I mean? Like, is that, like, that's what I'm hearing.
I could get that. I think, okay, I will say this. I feel like people are more quick to repair to repair the trust and, like, work through the betrayal with family and friends, because they like, oh, well, that's my cousin, or that's my sister, like, that's my mom. I can't, you know what I'm saying? I got it to, or my friend, we've been friends for X amount of years. Like, I can't let this go down the drain. I do think that people are quicker to repair those sorts of relationships. But,
so why?
I just said it because people be like, oh, that's my cousin. Like, I have to do this. We have to be cool. Or we're family. We have to talk.
Why?
I don't think it's true, but I'm just saying that's how people think. That's what you grew up on. That's your family.
That
you can't be against your family.
Shit. Listen, life is selfishness. I don't give a hell.
And I agree, but that's how people be thinking.
Then you burnt that bridge, if you ask me. You know what I mean? Like, and then why can't your significant other be family? So if your significant other hurt you, you know what I mean? Is that not family? Does that not... You done been through a lot probably with that person, right? Depending on how long y'all been together and everything of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So, like, what if... So, all right, let me ask this question. Let's switch the question up then.
All right.
Can a family member hurt you more than a significant other can?
I think so. Yes, absolutely. That's definitely possible. But would you be quicker to forgive your family member or your significant other? Is the real deal.
Would I be more willing to?
Yeah, more. Would you be more willing to forgive a family member or your significant other?
If it's my wife?
No. Boyfriend and girlfriend.
Those are different questions, you know what I'm saying? All right. Significant other, boyfriend or girlfriend.
Boyfriend and girlfriend.
How long y'all been together? Boyfriend or girlfriend, y'all live together?
Yes.
Y'all live together. How long y'all been together?
Let's say 3 to 5 years.
I'm forgiving my significant other. I think it also depends on what was done, though, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think, I think it matters
Some
on
shit
what was done, right? But I think that in that, right? But then it goes back to the Bible, right? So like me and you trying to learn the Bible, right? We trying to read more of the Bible. We trying to live more like the Bible. The Bible say we gotta be forgiven.
The Bible definitely does say that.
So, but okay, and forgiveness, does that mean that?
But you know what I learned at the therapy?
Okay, go
Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation.
Right. Okay. And that was my question. That was about to be my question. Right. So that's a good. I'm happy that that's the way that you worded it because I didn't know how to say it. Yeah. So okay. So right. So just because you forgave someone doesn't mean you have to reconcile with them. Right. So if we're talking about reconciling, right? It's been betrayal. Been betrayal in a relationship. Right. Because we're a relationship podcast.
Right.
So now that there's been this betrayal in a relationship, what determines an unrepairable relationship versus a repairable relationship?
I think it depends on where y'all both at, though. Like, because it is, some shit is just too far. Like, nigga, if you shoot me like in the leg or something, like, I don't know about that, because that was my safety.
So,
like, that was my safety. Like, that's a little far, but like,
what if they was just drunk? What if it was just a bad night? Like, their judgment wasn't all the way there.
You don't need to have no gun if you drunk.
I'm just saying, what if their judgment wasn't all the way there?
I mean,
right? Like, does everything come into play?
I have done some things while I was drunk, but I ain't gonna never shoot you.
You say that now?
I'm not. I would never do that. That's too far.
So, all right. So
I would never like. Okay, if you called the cops on me, I was like, come on now. Like,
you want to forgive somebody if they called your cops on you?
If I go to jail,
you ain't never forgiving them. If you're,
I ain't gonna say I ain't never forgive you. But why the fuck you call the cops, nigga?
I mean, I hear it depends on what you did. If you shot that motherfucker, you know what I mean? What you think you above the law because y'all go together? Why the fuck is that supposed to be?
All right, you right. Now that you would have to call the cops on me because why the fuck?
I think it depends on what you do.
If I even pull a gun out, I think you should call the cops. Like, that's far.
If it's going to a domestic level,
yes,
right. You know what I'm saying?
Like, we're about to harm each other. I think that's
especially if you're not hearing.
Yeah.
Right? Females be running people over with cars and all that shit.
Yeah, that's just fucking...
I ain't gonna lie.
That's insane.
People be crashing cars into their house and all that shit.
That's too far.
I'm calling the police on you. You know what I mean?
I ain't taking it
back some tires. I gotta call the police because I gotta get a police report in order to get the insurance to pay for it.
Ride on them fucking wheels. Dig it down the street. Get them plugged.
Get them plugged.
Or get some new tires.
You gonna have to get new tires if somebody go ahead and take the knife through it. Ching. Especially if they hit the sidewalls, you know what I mean? You ain't repairing no sidewalls.
Yeah, all right, you're right. I mean, but don't call the cops. Just ask me to pay for it.
I hear you. I hear you.
But I ain't never going that far. I ain't slashing no nigga tires. Like, that's just...
All right, so let's get back to the question then, right? So, betrayal happens. You're in a relationship.
Yeah.
Right?
Is it repairable?
Is it repairable?
Yes, I do think that it's repairable, but over time.
And I definitely think it takes time.
Yeah, it takes time. It takes both people.
You think it requires a breakup?
Not necessarily, but it may be. It may call for like, because I say y'all live together. It may be like a little bit of space, you know, like that. Right. Like, you know, I ain't really fucking with you right now, but you know.
But shit, sometimes that happen when you not having betrayal.
Yeah, sometimes
if you're in a relationship and you live together and y'all always want to be up each other, but like that's crazy a little bit, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
Because I ain't gonna lie, like sometimes me and Marissa be like, yeah, you can get out my face. I don't like, and I ain't beefing with you. I just don't feel like talking to you. I don't feel like being bothered right now.
Yes, it'd be like.
It just be like, I just want some space.
Or I'm just overstimulated. That'd be my thing. I'd be like, you talking way too loud for me right now, for my brain.
So, I think that consistency. And change behavior.
Definitely a big one.
Can lead to rebuilding.
And boundaries.
I think having boundaries set, but I think it depends. Again, I think that depends on the betrayal, right? Like I think when we say the boundaries, right? I think that depends on the betrayal. In my
Yeah, I guess
opinion.
so.
So I think that transparency, maybe,
Yes, transparency.
right? Like honesty, openness, transparency. But I think the big thing is like you want to see consistency and change
And
behavior.
reassurance is a big one.
All right, like them reassuring,
Each other, like I'm committed to this, like I'm in it every day.
even though like
You.
we hurt or we
Right.
been through
We going
something.
through something right now.
Right, I agree.
I'm still here.
I definitely agree with that. Right, like being able to be reassuring and being able to say like, look, we're going through a tough time right now, but we're still here. Like I still love you, and we're going to be able to do it. But I think also it requires remorse, right? Like you have to be accountable and remorseful for your actions,
Very
right?
true.
So like if you're gonna be, your sorry can't be because you got caught.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you can't feel bad now just because you got caught, right? Like, or even if that is the case, right? But being able to actually understand the impact.
I think that's a big one. Understanding the impact, the effects of your decisions beyond yourself.
Right.
What does that do to the other person? What does that do to the other people around me? Because in a relationship, sometimes it doesn't even have to be just the other person. Y'all may have kids, and it can affect the kids.
Right. Especially like if you got kids. I definitely think like things can have an effect on the kids.
So I definitely think reassurance and just definitely remorse are big ones as well, to being on that path to rebuilding the trust.
All right. So when you talk about boundaries, what do you mean? Right? Like when you say the boundaries piece. On the rebuilding trust, you said having boundaries. And I said, I guess that depends.
It depends on what it is, but it could be things like boundaries with people, or it could be boundaries with social media, how you interact with social media, what type of things are you posting on social media.
So, something that I guess what I want to add to that. So, okay, at first I said, well, the boundaries depend on what happened. But I guess, like, there are boundaries that you may now have with each other because there's been betrayal in your relationship. And I think sometimes we're not mindful of that piece.
Yes, because
right?
You do have to have boundaries in your relationship so y'all don't go too far. You get what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Well, we're committing to not doing this when we argue, or
right. Like, so like, hey, we're recovering right now, but where are our boundaries at in that recovery? Right? Because like we don't have time to throw jabs.
No.
Or like, but everybody's boundaries are different, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm just speaking on some of our general ones that me and you have, like when we get into arguments and stuff. And being able to have those boundaries, I think, because at the end of the day, betrayal is like an emotional scar.
Yes.
Right? So, you got a physical scar. You start setting boundaries on that thing. Right? Yeah, you know what I mean?
I ain't riding the scooter no more.
Right. Like you be like, hey, listen, can't nothing touch it. Right? The first day you get a cut, you like, oh, can't no water touch that. Yeah, you got your boundaries on it, right? Because
you got your Band-Aid.
Right? Mm-hmm. Because you want to limit the cause of extra pain, right? While you're in healing. Right? You don't want that scar to get infected. Right? So I do think that every fixing, I guess, or something, I don't know, everything after post betrayal, I do understand the need for boundaries, right? Because like you don't want something that's you also don't want something for you if you are the person that's been betrayed that will trigger that any further.
Yeah, that's a big one.
You know what I mean? So you may want to have those boundaries in place because you need to think about well, I don't want to be triggered any further.
Yeah.
So like I don't want this to also have this triggering or this effect on me. So that to me matters.
Yeah, I definitely that's a really good one, honey. That's really good. Because it's true. Like you do have to think about things of like, okay, well, what is gonna trigger me to go down this path again, or operate from a perspective of me being hurt. So
right.
you do have to.
So you may say yourself, "Here's my boundary in order to protect me," and your partner, I think, has to respect that.
Or be understanding, like respect it and be, right. Or if you don't understand, at least try to ask questions. That's what we learned too, also in therapy. Just being curious of your partner. Like when you don't understand something generally, like just ask them, like on a deeper level, what do you mean by that? What does that look like to you? I'm not really understanding that. I'm not saying that I'm not here with you, or I don't care about how you feel, but I'm not really understanding it. So if you could provide me more context or details,
especially
it will help.
Especially the what does that look like to you?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, cause like you may say something, right?
And that's a whole different definition from somebody else.
I expect no talking, right? And like, and that might even be a good one. I don't know. Like you can say stuff, but like, what does that look like to you, right? Or I just want to be happy. Okay, what does happiness look like to you? What will make you happy, right? Because what you may hear that, right? But then I started thinking, okay, well, I'm happy when I'm golfing. I'm happy when I have a drink with my friends. I'm happy when I'm doing this.
Right.
Right? That don't mean that that's what makes you happy. Right? Where for you might be like, well, I'm happy when my man come home and he bring me a car and he cook dinner and tell me I don't got to worry about it.
Right.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So you do have to be able to ask, like, what does that look like to me? And then I think outside of that, it's just consistency. Right, like once you guys have these conversations, like you got to be consistent in it, right? You can't just be like, "Oh, well, I'm just going to do this."
Yeah, and I also think you have to be vulnerable because you have to talk about how you feel and how, because the person will never know, like, and how you can't move forward if you don't get that out, like.
And I mean, when like with vulnerable, I think you got to be raw.
Yeah, like
you know what I mean, like not sugarcoating it, not expecting them to read around the lines or anything of that nature. Like when you be raw, like when it comes to that level, you have to be like raw and vulnerable.
Right. You have to say like really how you felt. Like if you was boohoo snot crying, you need to say that.
Yeah, like this shit hurt me.
Yeah, like that shit hurt me. Like I was crying, nigga. Like I was fucked up behind that shit. Like you don't understand. Like just say that. Like tell the person how you feel. Don't try to be nonchalant. And I mean, it hurt my feelings, but
right. Yeah, no. Yeah, when then you walking away and you still like fuck that mama. I'm angry. They don't care. Then you still holding all that in. Like just get it all out.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it don't always have to be in no angry way, but like get it all out. Like be able to talk to them. Like be able to like speak on that. And so let me ask this question. Is there a level where wounds cannot be healed?
Yeah, absolutely. Some things are just too far. Like you don't have a big enough Band-Aid for that shit, or it's just like, you know what I'm saying? It's just. Of course, I don't think it's something. It would have to be something extremely major for me. But major is different to everybody. Like some people just have certain non-negotiables, and it may come from childhood traumas or just things you've been through. Period, experiences, and you just like, I don't ever want to experience that again because it put me in this place. Some people don't want to return back to, I went through this and that, like I was just sad, like I couldn't even get myself together. Some people don't want to return back to that, which is understandable. So I do definitely think that there are some wounds that can't be healed, but I think that calls for the person to be honest and say, look, hey, this is just too much for me.
But is that because that person can't change? So like then does that make it a wound that can't be healed? Or if that person then provided some levels of change and consistency in that, could that still then be healed? Like, does everything have a chance of healing?
I believe everything has a chance of healing, pretty much. I just think it's all into if the person is willing to, both parties are willing to do it.
So I agree. I agree with that, right? Like, I guess I'm just trying to think of, like, are there points where things can't be healed? But I think I think you get to that point only when both people aren't committed to the healing. I think that's the real deal, right? Like, I think you only get to this point where things can't be healed when everybody's not committed to the healing.
Yeah, and I just also think it's different for every person because some people have certain things that they go for, and certain people have like certain stuff that I go for, like other people might not go for, or what they go for and they deal with, I may not deal with. Like, that's a no for me.
Right. Your non-negotiables can be different.
Yeah.
But I think everybody is different on that piece, right? Like, what I'm gonna deal with in a relationship, or what, like, my non-negotiables are, right? Like, you even watch TV shows, right? And you'll see married couples or something. You'd be like, I ain't never dealing with that. Or like, how can they have that type of relationship?
That's one for me. A man having a baby on me, especially if we married, you gotta be fucking kidding me. That's too fucking far. Now I gotta look at this little motherfucker like, and be like, oh, my stepchild. Like, no, that's a reminder every day that you fucking cheated on me. Then you didn't even just cheat. You had a motherfucking baby.
So that's the wound that's like, no.
Yeah, I think that's a no. Like, that is a no for me. Like, is you cool? Like, I would just be like, every time you bring that baby out, like, are both of y'all okay? Like,
every time, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. you say that piece of the topic. So that leads me to this point, right? So, okay, you get a husband, he have a baby on you, and now you leave him. What about you? That still ain't fixed that pain?
I'ma still be sad, and I'm gonna be furious. Probably gonna see the smoke coming off of me.
Right. So let's talk about healing yourself. Right.
Yeah.
And betrayal. You leave the man. You stay with the man. Right. You leave with you leave your significant other. You stay with your significant other. The betrayal has now happened. Mm-hmm. Right. You've been hurt. Right. At some point, we also, so like I think like we talked about what does it take. Well, we first talked about like how does betrayal affect the trust or affect the relationship. Then we talked about what does it take to move past the betrayal. Right? But we talked about that and like that joint effort.
Right.
Right? So to me, I also think that after being betrayed, there's some work you gotta do by yourself. After every betrayal.
Because you have to sometimes I feel like you have to forgive yourself and you have to forgive the other person. You have to forgive yourself because, you may have you have to have self-compassion.
Okay.
Because you may be in that mindset like, oh my God, like if I would have did this, or, I should have just been more loving.
100%.
So that's part of the working on yourself piece and that self-esteem. Like you going to definitely have to work on yourself and work on, letting go and ripping the Band-Aid off and letting the wound get some air. And, you know what I'm saying? That's how it is with scars. You got to let it breathe and heal up. You can't keep a Band-Aid on there forever.
Can't. I think also reassessing and reassuring your own self-worth.
That's a good one.
Right? Like, really taking that time. Because in those times, like, especially like at the betrayal, you can be in your head.
Yeah, you got to come out of that space.
You're going to be overthinking. You're going to be like, well, what? Like you said just now, right? What could I have done differently? If I just would have did this, we wouldn't be here and everything like that. Like, being able to take that time, or if it is a husband having a baby on you, right, you start, I wasn't good enough, I can't even have kids, blah 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 blah. Right. Where you may just have to take some time to like really focus on self-worth. You may have to take time and do words of affirmation for yourself. Put up some little sticky notes and rebuild yourself back up. Or, you know what I mean? Read these different words of affirmation every day. Because if not, right? Like I think the biggest thing about the self healing part is like avoiding the past hurt, right? Like I think it's easy to sit in that, right? It's easy to sit in that bitterness, right? And that, oh, I just wasn't good enough. Oh, well, this person did this to me. And, you know, like, I think, like, the biggest part of that self-healing part is, like, their reflection on you, right? A lot of times when we are betrayed, we blame ourselves.
Very true.
Right? And I think you have to be able to focus on yourself and not blaming yourself in order to be open enough to be at a place for the rebuilding to happen.
Definitely.
Right? And I don't think that rebuilding, so like even like, you know, now, right? Like me and you have a safe word for arguments and everything like that. Like we'd say like you right now is not the time to talk. Like I'm pissed off with you. I just need a minute. Right now is not the time to talk. So I think being able to be honest to that level.
Mm-hmm. And with that, respecting it too and not taking it personal, like
not overthinking.
Yeah, like
that
he hates me right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not that deep. Like it's not. It's just I need a second. Like I'm human. I'm not a robot.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have to like process this on my own before I process it with you right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's another important piece in healing. Sometimes people are quick to avoid it completely. Like just be like, all right, well, this happened. We just gonna move past it and not truly process the betrayal. So you're then it comes back up. It shows back up eventually.
Because it will.
It will.
Like if you don't take that time to, I think like especially like, and that's where like it goes back to like that moment of transparency like that we talked about earlier. If you don't take that time to truly be like transparent, be open, be honest, be real, and like really reflect on it, then 100%, I think that you are right back in the same exact predicament. I guess it's like the best kind of play, because like you then can't avoid that bitterness. Like you still then have it in you. So I think like you have to do that in order to like really have healing and rekindling or like moving forward. And I think like that has to be on everybody. Like yeah, there's two or more to the party, right? But that rekindling, that rebuilding after betrayal comes from everybody being ready at their time, right? So like,
right, that's true.
Like you can't, like I can't come down and be like, well, Marissa, I'm not ready to talk about this, so now you need to be ready.
Right, you can't force it. You guys gotta let everybody
have their
be
time.
ready when they ready. You can't, because then it could just make it worse. Honestly.
It can make it worse. So like in our relationship right now, what we do, hey, it's now a good time to talk.
Right.
Right, because like sometimes like it's not, and then like you're not hearing each other. It's just an argument. You're still pissed off. Every little thing they say is still triggering you. You're still going back and now repeating yourself about what the hurt was. Like we know, you know what I mean, or what the betrayal was. When it's like you know. So you got to be able to understand that it takes time. Healing takes time, right? Because like we talked about earlier, the betrayal process, the grieving process, it's not linear, right? It can be all over the board. Mm-hmm. And where you may be at in that process may not be where I'm at in that process, right? We may be on different pages
in the book
on the same day.
Yep.
And that doesn't make either one of us wrong.
But that's when that communication comes into play.
That's where it has to come into play.
Because you have to talk about it. Like,
I think that's the biggest thing you need at the betrayal is to be able to honestly, openly communicate what it was, how it affected you, right? So when we talk about the self-healing portion of the journey, I think that piece comes to play because when we talk about the self-healing part, I think you can communicate better if you take that time for self first. Take some time to journal. Take some time to like write it out. Take some time to like really reflect and process and really like go through your emotions.
Yeah, and I'm one that had to do that because I be needing time, y'all. Because if you get the first thing that's on my motherfucking mind, you gonna get some crazy shit, or you're just not gonna understand what I'm talking about. So it's just like, is this better for me to just come back and then really explain like how I'm feeling, or like, you know what I'm saying, like actually, and be able to tell you why? Because sometimes you could just be feeling and you really don't know why or what it was. You know what I'm saying? Especially if something just triggers you. You just like,
right.
I'm just fucking mad right now.
Right. And you kind of still haven't even really like,
yeah,
what the heck actually happened?
What is the underlining thing that really got me like here? Mm-hmm. So definitely that time. Just take that time. And that doesn't then mean that you don't want to have the conversation. I think if you communicate that to your partner or whoever, it could be like, because this could go for
work,
whatever,
anything.
If you
co-workers, anything.
You should just respectfully tell somebody like, listen, I'm not saying we can't have a conversation, but right now I need to like process this. Mm-hmm. So I need you to give me, if you need a day or I need 30 minutes. And
I need some time.
Yeah, sometime. I feel like in a relationship, you gotta say a time because sometimes, because it'd be like, what you mean?
You do.
Like, when are we gonna talk about it?
Right. So you do just be like, look, I need some time, and then even if that time goes, and then you still realize like you're not ready, like just check back in.
Yeah, like, hey, didn't forget about you.
Right. I'm still processing.
Just still acknowledge, you know.
Right.
That's the.
So it's like one of the big things for us is like the feelings list. Right, and going to that feelings list and being like, what do we actually feel?
Yeah, do I feel angry, sad?
What do you actually feel? Because like sometimes like you'll throw out all your thoughts and it'll be like none of those are feelings. So really being able to take time with yourself to really say like, what am I feeling? Okay, well, what now caused me to feel this way? I feel betrayed. I feel hurt. I feel dismissed. Whatever. Right, and then from there, I think that's where the healing goes together for the rebuilding, because if you can't start with that open, honest, and transparent conversation, right, then how are y'all building trust? Like, we can't even be open and honest right now.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? About something that you made me feel.
Right. And it can be something that's just like, you know, sometimes you have those days where you just wake up on the wrong side of the bed, and me and you, we have those thoughts, and sometimes we just have to tell each other like, hey, I need more love today because I'm just not feeling myself, or like, or I just want more love today. You know, like we have to have, and that, Doc will lie, like that takes vulnerability, because it's just, I know, like for me, I wasn't a person that always say how I feel. Like I just kind of deal with it. But like being in a relationship, I have to. He know when I'm not being myself, so I have to tell him, or I have to be like, listen, I just really need 5 minutes because I ain't sit down all day today. I ain't beefing with you, but yeah, I'm being.
But then that helps.
Yeah, but you know, like I'm not attacking you.
Yeah, like then when you say that, like that helps, because then like if we not just talking, you don't say nothing, I'm like, well, what the fuck? Like you ain't
what
talking
did I
to
do?
me.
Right? You like
what did I do?
You stank today.
We
like,
beef. Yeah.
And sometimes it do be like that. And I be like, listen, I'm not being stank. I'm over fucking stimulated. Like I don't even know. I'm just sitting here. Like I'm just trying to regroup.
Minute. I need some time.
Yeah.
So we're getting there. Mm-hmm. I think that's how other couples get there too.
I definitely got better, y'all, because I'm trying to tell y'all. Before I would just be like, they'd be like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Nothing. Shit."
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like the transparency part, right? Like you got to be able to have that. You got to be able to talk, right? Because even like sometimes, like Marissa might say something and it's like a little shot. And I'm like, "What you mean by that?" Well, really, babe, I just didn't like that this happened. All right, well, just tell me that, honey. Mm-hmm. You don't gotta do all of that extra stuff that you did. So all right, if you had to give a couple guidance, somebody came to us and they said, "Hey, I just went through a really bad breakup," or me and my significant other going through a bad breakup. Can we trust each other again? I don't know. I'm not really over it. What would be your advice on or your guidance on trusting again after a bad breakup? Because it may not be for them to get back together.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It may just be for, somebody just went through a bad breakup and they were, whatever happened in their relationship. Now they don't trust men no more. They don't trust women no more, whatever. What would be your guidance on trusting again after a bad breakup?
I think you definitely got to get some healing, regardless if y'all going to get back together or not. Because it's more so for you to let it go and kind of just be free of that. Like, you carrying all those emotions, you'll carry it for years. Like, grudges, like, trust me, because I've been the person to do it. Just carrying shit, being mad for years because you never got an apology from somebody, or you never got that to have a real conversation and for y'all to really like say, hey, this is this and that is that. Sometimes you'll just never get that apology or the conversation. So that's for you to then say, okay, well, I don't need this. Like, I need to do what I need to do to move forward, regardless if I get the apology, if we get back together, if we have a talk, if my feelings get validated, whatever. Like, you have to, I think, go within yourself and really just, at first process it. Like, how did this make me feel and why?
Mm-hmm.
And I think then you have to go from there. Like, well, do I feel like this is repairable, or do I think it's not? And you really have to ask yourself real questions, because you have to be like, am I truly going to get over this? Am I truly going to let it go? And how long do I think it may take for me to let it go? Because I feel like that's important too. But I feel like somebody really wants to be with you, they won't put you on a timeline. But I do think that there are boundaries and limits, because, I mean, who the fuck wants to keep talking about the same shit from about 12 years ago? Now, at that point,
right, let it go.
That, like, what are we doing here? You know what I'm
so
saying?
let me ask this question. Let me ask that same question, but in the perspective of not with the same person.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So your trust now for men as a whole, or
Oh, yeah.
or men with children, or you know what I mean, like just like different groups, black men,
you can't jump,
right? Like,
and I definitely think
those things. So like, how then do you trust again? Right? How do you trust again? You were in a domestic violence relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your girlfriend used to beat you up all the time. Now, how as a man, how do you tell him to trust again? Trust women
I think
again?
you had to first start by understanding, like, you cannot generalize people.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, that individual is that individual. The next person, they could be different, they could be the same. That's just a risk in dating, period, or whatever, having relationships with people, period. People can be similar and people can be totally different. But I think when you go through self-healing, you gain, and also from that experience, you then gain, knowledge and wisdom. Like, when you start seeing certain signs, you like, okay, well, I've been through this before.
Right.
Let me ask deeper, real questions. Like, hey,
So,
what is?
I like that.
Yeah, like,
I like that, because not just assuming that because I've been through this before that this is the same thing that's going on. Right? Or, oh, well, I saw something like this before, so I think I know what's going on. Right? Like, I do think it's important to keep those separated. Like, yeah, this feels familiar, where it's leading me to ask more questions. It's leading me to chase and gain more understanding. So I agree with everything that you said. I do think that it requires you to take the time to first and foremost process your hurt, process your pain. Take that time with yourself. Right? And like, if it's not enough with yourself, go see a therapist. Go work it out with somebody. Go talk to them about what you're dealing with.
right.
I do think that is very important to work through. And like deal with. And then from there, I agree that it just takes the individualization, not grouping people together, really focusing on, this is this one person, this is what they did, but that one person does not represent or speak for all women or all men or whatever the case may be. So I do agree with that piece on really keeping it really focused on like that person, that situation. Um, and then yeah, like you said, processing that, right? And that processing may come in different ways, right? It may be journaling, right? And I remember like my therapist was like, write this letter, and I was like, yo, that letter ain't gonna help me. Like I'm not even gonna send it to the person, but like you'll be amazed at how much that letter helped.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like really, because it even like
thoughts.
unleashed things where you was like, wow, I didn't realize like that's what I was thinking. Like that's how I was feeling. So I do think like those things are like the big importance. I do think that you can rebuild. I don't know if rebuilding is always going to look the same way. You know what I mean? Like you'll see structures a lot of times that get knocked down, right? And they might build another structure in that same place, but it may not always look the direct same, right? The Twin Towers didn't look the same the second time that they got rebuilt as they did the original time. Because
right, and that doesn't make it any less functional. It doesn't make it not good, not better, right. Or you could have like prime example. They redoing my grandmother's house. Like it looks totally different.
Mm-hmm. We're redoing our house.
Right, it's gonna look totally different, but it's still, you know what I'm saying, that I guess you still had the familiarity.
Foundation.
Yes, the foundation. That's what the word. Mm-hmm. You still have the foundation, but you just got a new look. Mm-hmm. And that's not always bad, because sometimes you do need like a fresh start. You need to start over, like in the rebuilding the trust, like, because then you may unlock different levels in the relationship or the bond, like,
right. And even for yourself, like you may learn through it, right? Like I do think that like God puts us through lessons, right? God puts us through things in order for us to learn, in order for us to grow, in order for us to be a testimony for someone else.
Absolutely.
So some stories, it may seem like it sucks in the moment, but even though it sucks in that moment of time, it does not have to be defining, right? Like everything that you've gone through does not have to define you.
That's where that self-compassion coming in,
right? So and like really knowing your self-worth, right? Like it doesn't mean that that moment now has to be the biggest definer of you.
Definitely. And just because you made a mistake or you always haven't made the best decisions doesn't mean that you're a horrible person or you can't make better decisions going forward.
Right. This one moment does not define the rest of my life. Because it doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, and it's even people that go to prison for stuff. And it's like, yeah, that one moment. Like, we've been watching that show, Accused, Did I Do It? Or Accused, Guilty, or Innocent. And it's like, that, yeah, you had this moment, and you may go to prison for it. Mm-hmm. But that does not define your entire character. That doesn't make you a
bad person, right? Because there's people in there that kill people, and I'm like, damn, they gotta go to jail.
But it's really like, in that moment, like I can understand why they thought it was self-defense, or like why they felt like they had to do it. But like the law may say, they still gotta go to jail.
Right.
So it just kind of depends. So for me, my words of encouragement would be, you can rebuild after betrayal. I do think that what's meant to be will be. I do think that in relationships, it just requires consistency. It does require change behavior. It does require remorse. It does require empathy. It does require patience.
Reassurance.
It requires reassurance. It just requires you to really be committed to what you want and what you're trying to do. Right, because every day is not gonna be easy. Some days you're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, like what did Erykah Badu bag lady? You gonna hurt your back carrying all the bags like that." Sometimes you're gonna get them bags. Sometimes it's gonna come back, right? So these are my words of encouragement.
Sorry, my bad.
I don't need you to take my moment. You can get the floor in a little bit.
I'm just agreeing.
So I think that. You know what I mean? Like, if you are a couple and you're dealing with that, I think that you can rebuild. I think that there are options and avenues to go through after you've had betrayal. I do think that it takes work. I do think that it takes partnership, right? A relationship requires partnership. It does require you guys to talk, be vulnerable, be honest. But in that and after that, you can rebuild. And if you truly said, hey, this is against my non-negotiables, then I understand that part too. You know what I mean? Be able to be forgiving because that's what God wants us to do. God has asked us to be forgiven, right? So if what happened may be against you and maybe against what you believe in and you are like, well, I can't be with this person no more. Understandable, right? Mm-hmm. But for you, at least forgive them and be able to move on.
Okay.
All right. So now, the Mar from the MarKei Unfiltered. What are your words of encouragement, Mar? Mar.
Dang, I don't got on number 8, so I can really be Mar. I got on 0, Roquan Smith. You see this shit?
0, Roquan Smith. No, they can't see that.
Yeah, he just poured my fucking wine in his glass.
But you're not drinking. We got literally 3 minutes until the show ends. I'm trying to help you finish.
Anyway, y'all.
Oh, okay.
Let me take a sip to that.
Take a sip to that.
Words of encouragement I would give is definitely to forgive. Forgive for yourself, number 1. That's the biggest thing because you don't want to be carrying weight for years. And
yeah, you don't. I'm sorry, I was just agreeing.
This was the type of stuff that we do every day. How he be getting on my motherfucking nerves, y'all. And I
just hope everybody from church is watching this episode. I really hope so because she just like has been
I do need to work on my potty mouth.
It's okay. It's all right.
But definitely forgive more so for yourself, and just give yourself grace. Like number 1, and patience, and just really just process. That's my words of encouragement. Like you gotta go through the uncomfortable stage. Some people don't like it because it's rough, it's hard, it don't feel good, but you gotta go through it in order to see the other side. Or you're just going to be taking it into the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Or just carrying that energy. And don't nobody want to be around that. Like, you just mad for no reason. Well, you mad. You know why you mad. But other people don't know. They just think you just angry. 24/7. So, I just think that that's my words of encouragement. And I do think if there is a couple that is trying to get back together, I would suggest just being honest with each other. If putting in the effort and the time and really seeking all avenues. Like if you haven't tried therapy, try therapy. But for number 1 and foremost, with couples trying to get back together, commitment has to be the biggest thing. Like y'all both have to be committed to rekindling the relationship. It can't just be one-sided, because that's how you get when people fucking play with you. But, just, and then, just definitely be reassuring, be kind, be patient with each other, be respectful, and slow down. Like, just really, truly talk about how you feel and, how you can see it moving forward. What do you need? That's one of the biggest things. You need to be able to tell the person what you need, because they can't read minds. And just giving each other grace. Understanding y'all both are humans. Y'all both not robots. You get what I'm saying? So it's just, you gotta, sometimes, you won't go through shit in a relationship. Like ups and downs, in betweens. Some days you're gonna be looking like, oh my gosh, here they go again.
Some days everything you do get on my nerves.
Same.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
So, and it could be
some
something
days
real
I
simple.
Everything you do.
Yeah, it could be really like the most simplest thing. Like, he could be turning the music up in the car real loud and singing real loud, and I'd just be like, why? I'm overstimulated right now. That is too loud for my brain. But I'd just be like, that's just him being him. That's his personality. So I don't knock it, and but I don't also be a hole. And then be like, start wilding out. What are you doing?
I don't know, because a woman can be aggressive.
Oh my gosh! Ever since the apostle said that women are so aggressive, he been laying it down. I tell him it's a Scorpio thing for me, so I don't know.
Hey,
That's just my little
I hear you, honey.
2 cents.
I hear you, honey. All right, well, thank y'all.
Thank y'all for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of MarKei Unfiltered, where we keep it real, raw, and unfiltered. And we'll be back soon with another episode.
It won't take this long this time.
It will not take this long this next time, right? So I promise you, before we go on our cruise in 2 weeks, we'll drop another episode.
Yes.
Right.
Well, we can make that promise.
So sure. We'll make sure that before we go on our cruise in 2 weeks, probably the day the cruise is leaving, which is on a Friday, an episode will drop. And then me and Marissa will be off the internet for a week.
Yes. And I can't wait to spend some time with my man, y'all, because it's just been busy business. So, yeah.
All right. Well, until next time, right? Make sure that you guys are staying engaged. Make sure that you're subscribing to us wherever you catch this podcast out. Maybe Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere else that you're catching out our podcast. Make sure that you subscribe, you like, you share. Let your friends know to check out the hottest podcast in town. And it's the MarKei Unfiltered podcast, where we keep it raw, real, and unfiltered.
Yes. And I'm also thinking about dropping something new. So stay tuned and bear with me, because I got to get everything together with it. But until then, stay real, stay unfiltered. And until next time.
Peace.
Bye.